Lights, camera, action.
In a studio where local filmmakers talk to other filmmakers about the inside world of film.
Cut.
That's not the script. It. We'll fix it in post. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Mumphrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson explain all the details. Right here on It, We Will Fix It in Post podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're listening, I thank you for doing so. I am Kevin Mumphrey, and this is We'll Fix It in Post. I'm here with my colleagues, Karsten Hype Ferguson and Victoria V.A. Jones.
What's going on?
Today, we're talking to comedian Donnie Stopa. How are you doing today?
Oh, doing great, buddy. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
That's the first time we've got some music to start off.
Is that too much? Is that too much music? Is that beat all right?
Well, I don't know what club this would be, but
a little bachata, maybe a little bachata. You know, I mainly date Puerto Rican girls, so that's what we do. Yeah.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
You and Kevin should go out.
Puerto Rican, Dominican. Oh yeah, I'm right.
Go
there.
out on the night on the town, right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, they got the flavor, they got the seasoning.
Wait,
nice.
You're in Florida now, right?
Yeah. Hello.
So
I tried to get as close
Cubans.
to Puerto Rico as I could. Well, we got Cubans too. Yeah. It's a lot of them. You know, a little bit of both.
I'm a little bit jealous right now. I'm a little bit jealous, but I'll manage.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
manage. But
Yeah, come visit. We'll
I will. I definitely will.
Yeah.
To start off, what got you into comedy?
Oh man, so I first became obsessed with comedy when I was 7 years old. I remember vividly, I was on my grandma's floor in her living room. She passed out in the Lazy Boy. I was watching Comedy Central. It was like the first time Comedy Central ever was a thing. And I was like enamored. I said, I just want to do that. I memorized the jokes. I started telling this dude's jokes to other people. It was, they didn't land as a 7-year-old talking about adult topics. It didn't work, but you had to learn my audience, learn my voice. But yeah, no, and then actually my whole life I always wanted to do stand-up and music. I wanted to be an entertainer. So yes, 2008 is actually, October 2008 was the first time I actually pursued stand-up comedy, did an open mic at Side Splitters Comedy Club, Tampa, Florida. Shout out to them. They're an awesome club here in Tampa.
Now, so when you were a kid, would you try to like do jokes and like perform for your family?
Yeah. My family, they don't have the same sense of humor. So, I mean, I'm not for everybody. I'm not for everybody, okay? But the thing is that my friends, though, like in school, I always wanted to be class clown and center of attention. Maybe I didn't get enough attention. I don't know. But the bottom line is I've always been kind of hyperactive. And I would really try to not get in trouble because my dad was very strict. But I would find ways to like slip jokes in there and get in as little trouble as possible. That was kind of my goal in life in general.
So do you remember like one of these jokes that you told, those little slick jokes you would tell as a kid?
I do. Actually, there's one I do on stage now that I wrote in fourth grade. And so
please tell.
Yeah. So in fourth grade, they were trying to teach us Spanish a little bit, So, because of the Puerto Rican girls I got to talk to. Of course. Yeah, gotta say something. Say hola or whatever. So I was talking to these Spanish lunch ladies. They only spoke Spanish. They didn't speak any English. So I was trying to use my Spanish on the lunch ladies. And I'd go by and tell them, "Oh, you have nice muslos, big muslos," right? And then like I would flex like that, but the whole time I knew that in Spanish, muslos actually means thighs. So I was telling them that they had big thighs. Yeah,
That's terrible.
It's not body positive. I was in fourth grade.
This is a different time.
It was a different time, man. Come on, it was crazy. It was the 90s, man. Come on. So, so I would tell, to me it was funny, and to my buddy it was funny, but obviously it's a little bit mean. But if I ever see like a man in the front and center at any of my shows, this happens to me a lot for some reason. I always get distracted because they have like these really short shorts, these dudes, and very
you're
like
in Florida.
yeah, reflective thighs. If you see what I'm saying. So I'm like, dude, like you're gonna. It's just very distracting when you have ADHD trying to do jokes and then the guy's mooslos. So I talk about his mooslos and I say, hey, don't be embarrassada. Don't be embarrassada, which means, of course, pregnant. I said, don't be pregnant, sir. Okay. And then, yeah, that's part of my act now from 4th grade. So,
So how did your first show go? Oh, I love this.
it went great.
Let it play a little bit longer. Hold on, just let it play a little bit
Let it
longer.
marinate.
There we go. Yeah,
I feel like that's how you walk into a room with music.
the vibe. Yeah,
You gotta get the
that's what I'm saying.
vibe.
That's how
I'm
I
all
do walk
about
into the room. You know what
Bring
I'm
the
saying?
shades up.
Well, I don't walk in the room with that on is the soundtrack.
I don't even
No, this is actually the hold music. This is the hold music you get like on any time you call anybody.
I don't know. This sounds way better than the whole music I've been hearing lately.
Your call
Actually,
is
the
very
last time I
important
put
to
on
us.
hold, they
Right.
paid no music.
Right.
See,
Hey,
that's they keep you on your toes with that. I don't like that.
exactly.
No.
So how did your first show go? Like, you know.
Let's see. So my first show, October 2008, it was at Side Splitters Comedy Club. It was an open mic, and I had written about 5 minutes of jokes, and I memorized them really well. And it actually went really well. No, it was like really actually went well, which is rare, but it went
So I was
great.
gonna
Like,
ask that.
everything hit, and I was like, okay, I'm a star now apparently. And that was, Hollywood, hello, have you heard of me yet? Hello. They still haven't returned my calls, but I will say, it was weird because like the owner of the club, I went up, you hear fake it till you make it. That doesn't work in comedy. But I walked up to the club owner and I was like, oh yeah, I've been performing for a long time. Cause I was like trying to find like creative ways to say like, hey, put me on a show, like a real show. And somehow he actually did. I convinced the guy to put me on like the main room at Side Splitters Comedy Club. This is an A club. This is like one of the best clubs in the country. Very well-known club. And I think, who was it recently? Louis C.K. recently specifically talked about Side Splitters Comedy Club and the owner there and shouted them out in his last special. But
That's the one he won the Grammy for? Or?
It's the one that's called I'm Sorry. I'm Sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah, so, so I stopped watching award shows because comedians get slapped too much. But,
We're going to get to that part.
that's why I just
shows
do it
don't
virtual.
slap
I'm
like
only
they
doing
used to.
virtual. I'm doing virtual. You can't rush from the stage right now. It's cool.
Not only do they get slapped, they get body slammed too now.
I know, dude. But it didn't work
How
out
did
for
I
the other
get
guys so well because Jamie Foxx got in the
Man.
mix.
Boy, did he get a punchline.
Man, he look. He got that New York greeting.
Yeah, but he's on SoundCloud, so I guess his SoundCloud subscribers, they got psyched. But
So,
no, yeah.
Unfortunately, I did listen to a song.
Did you?
I will never get that time back. I was curious.
Uh-huh.
And then he sent it to me. Then he sent it to me.
Hey, he knew better not to send it to me.
I probably did send it to you, but it didn't send.
Oh, okay. It's a good thing it did.
His phone was like, it just edited it out. But I was listening to it. I was like, man, this sounds like high school.
Yeah.
Like the kids at the lunch table, they can't really rap. That's what it sounded like. I was like, keep trying it, buddy.
Was it like mumble rap? Was it like
Close. It was close. It was close. I mean, I was like,
It was like you kind of try to like put some chemicals together and try to see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Bill Nye. Like the Bill Nye the Science
didn't-
guy.
but his
Yes.
experiment like kind of blew up in his face.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. It wasn't
Like
very
the Beaker and Bunsen, like the Muppets. Never mind.
Yeah.
I would
aging myself.
much
Don't worry
rather
about-
hear the Muppets than that guy again.
Those guys are good hecklers, though, in the balcony. I will say, I got to shout out to those heckler dudes in the balcony at the Muppet shows. Those are good.
Now,
Good dudes.
as hecklers, they were funny. But now
They were funny, yeah.
Now, do you think it's better to because usually I hear when people start off, they completely bomb. Do you think it's better that it was better for you to have done well at first, or to have, I don't want to say bomb, but not do as well?
I'll take whatever I can get. Okay. At this point, it's like, dude, comedy is such, it's a craft. So you are always working to improve and get funnier and better and stronger. And, and so the thing is that you can't fake it till you make it. Like I was saying earlier, you can't fake it. So I tried to fake it to that owner, right? So then he put me on the showcase the next weekend. Well, I didn't realize that you could actually do the same jokes you already wrote. I didn't realize you could actually repeat the same jokes because it's a different audience. Like, they never heard it. So I wrote a new act, like a new 8 minutes based on, like, I got rid of the 5 minutes that worked great. And then I wrote 8 minutes, and about, like, I started off really well, and I invited like anybody I knew, so like half the room, like, people knew me, and so I really set myself up for success in my social circles. But then so what I did is like halfway through, I started mixing up my punchlines and my setups, and I started forgetting certain words, and I was like, why aren't they laughing? And it was because I hadn't said the punchline. So it kind of fell apart towards the end. Still did well relatively, and actually the club actually posted it on rooftopcomedy.com, which used to be a big deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it used to be a big deal. And they posted it there. It was 5 stars, had a bunch of reviews. But I was embarrassed by it, actually. And I asked Rooftop Comedy to take it down. But anyhow, yeah. I mean, look, no, I won't see that. But now it's like basically after that it was just a year of bombing, just a year straight bombing, eating dirt. So if I hadn't done well, first couple times, I don't know what would happen to me, but my self-esteem would not be very high. So yeah, no, you need those wins. I try to hold on, like you hold on to anything you can, whether it's a compliment from an audience member or somebody telling you that a certain joke was hilarious. Like, you kind of have to hold on to that encouragement, because there's a lot of discouragement coming if you're trying to do comedy. Period.
So what happens when somebody's like, "Oh, that wasn't so bad"? Like, what about the lukewarm ones? What do you do then?
No, this is not. Well, you learn because you learn how to bob and weave, So a lot of people, if you're just comics, any comics or aspiring comedians out there, if somebody comes up to you after your set and says, "Wow, that's just so brave of you to do that."
Oh, man.
Yeah, that probably was not funny. They probably did not.
Stunning.
Yeah, that was really something. That was something that happened there, right up there when you went up and you did that. Yeah, wow, that was something, huh? But no, yeah, you want to be aware that sometimes people just are not honest with you, but they try to find a way to like give you some kind of something. So it's not brave. I don't think it's brave to do comedy. I think it's some would say foolish. I think it's not brave, because if you're wired for this, if you're made for this, it's the most comfortable you'll ever be, is on stage in front of a crowd. That's it.
Right.
So for me, it's not brave at all. It's like, oh no, this is like my safe place, like being on stage and sharing whatever I think is silly. It's also therapeutic for me. So yeah. So again, the after effects of whatever you do on stage, that's the stuff that's really tough, because you have to deal with the consequences afterwards. And you also get feedback in real time, like, oh, wait, they didn't laugh at that, they didn't laugh at that, oh. And then you're going to have to learn how to, for me, it's really important to be present. You got to be like in the moment with them. You're sharing a moment. And so you want to say, oh, wait, and then say something self-deprecating, like, oh, well, man, you guys really didn't like that joke, huh? I mean, I got other jokes. I mean, yeah. So just finding ways to be self-aware and just kind of connect with people. That's the biggest, hardest part, and also the most important part, I think, of being a comic, is that you got to find a way to connect with an audience. And so some people are better than others at that, and some people do it more directly. Some people do it through relatable material. It just, but if you're not connecting with the audience, you're just brave in their eyes.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
have you because when you mentioned like being self-deprecating, like, I've seen comedians when they do a joke and it don't work. I think this guy Dion Cole.
Yeah,
He kind
yeah.
of has this thing
Dion
where
Cole's
he's like
great.
writing something. Like,
Yeah.
oh well, I guess. So
Yeah, you
does
scratch
kind
that
of,
off.
Like,
Yeah.
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 So does normally kind of acknowledging that it doesn't work usually gets a pretty good response.
See, that's it. So for all that time that I bombed, which it's actually more than a year. I mean, I really, really bombed a lot in my career. So, but it helped. It made me again so much from bombing, especially if you videotape and audio record your sets because you want to watch the game film, figure out, okay, what did I do here?
Yeah,
Did I make a
video
weird
of
face?
these?
Oh yeah. I have way
Wow.
more video of my face than I would be willing to admit. But yeah, it's nauseating. But yes, I do. I have lots of bombs on video, and actually, I have a fake podcast. It's called "This Is Not a Podcast." Don't worry, this is a plug. This is not a podcast. Check it out. It's on YouTube. So yeah, on there, I like to take like clips of stuff that I've done and like react to it, like from stuff from a long time ago. Because I've been doing it, yeah,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I gotta
13 and a
watch
half
that.
years. Yeah. This is not a podcast. It's fun, but it's not a podcast. So anyhow,
That's a great title.
right?
great
Thank
title.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
It's-
title.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, second grade's title. You know,
Yeah. I mean, it didn't.
so you know,
It didn't take any work. Yeah. It's like literally. Oh wait, I don't want to do a podcast. Oh well, but then do just whatever. So on there I'm gonna have like different me reacting in real time to whatever was happening, because yeah, it was brutal. But again, those bomb moments, like you learn so much, and you get so much better from actually, marinating and soaking yourself in the bomb, and then you're like, okay, yeah, this is something that I can learn from. So what was the question? I forgot. I have ADHD. Go ahead.
I forgot too.
we all forgot.
That's
On
what
to
I
the
do.
next question.
Distraction.
'Cause,
I'm
like,
a
when
master
you
of
got on
distraction.
bombing, I'm just kind of like
A year of bombing though.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Kind of
That's
It's more. It's
man,
more than
I mean,
a-
but
for
still,
any-
that's brutal. That's,
Yeah.
that's brutal.
Thank
Because
you.
it's just you and the audience.
Right.
You
So
and the
what made
audience.
you not want to give up when you went through a year of bombing?
I actually quit. I quit after a year, to reevaluate my life and choices, and I quit for a short period of time, and I just realized that the way I was approaching comedy and my jokes and everything, and my persona on stage, because they say on average most comics or like veteran pros would say it takes probably about 7 or 8 years before you find your voice as a comic on average.
Right.
And I would say that's absolutely true. And I mean, I'm getting on stage 5 to 8 times a week, just to make sure that I can get better, any little bit better I can get, or tighten up a joke any way I can. And through all that stage time, it took about 7 years before I was like, wait a second, this is really who I am, and this is how I need to approach my personality and how to make it palatable for the audience, because I'm a lot. I'm a lot. I got a lot of energy, and I do a lot of stuff that's weird, and I have to find out how I can communicate that in a way that people aren't just scared. So that was part of it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
'Cause-
Yeah,
'cause it's like,
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because it's like the 10,000 hours, right? The outliers.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to build up that repetition and figure out where you fit. I hear YouTubers and like even some entertainers or whatever, it takes them a while, like
Yeah.
one to get comfortable and then two to find the voice.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, man,
kudos to
that's
you.
the way it is. Yeah, so most comics will drop off about 5 years in. You'll see like a lot of attrition right there. Boom. It's like if I leave a town and I come back 5 years later, it's a different group of people, in the scene. So yeah, it's no joke, man. You got to be tenacious. You got to get after it, and you got to be willing to grind. And if you do, it's very rewarding. But it's not glamorous necessarily, but it's fulfilling for sure.
So, one more question about this bombing thing.
Jeez.
Oh, I could write a novel or like an exposition right now. We could do this.
this stuff cringes me and fascinates me at the same time. So I'd like to ask this comedians this question: is it worse to like be booed on the stage, or for an audience to say nothing?
Boo.
After a joke.
It's worse if you get booed. If they say nothing, at least you still have their attention and you have an opportunity. You have a chance. You have a fighting chance to at least get back to neutral. And I became an expert at bombing, I would say, because I had to learn how to make fun of myself enough and make fun of the awkwardness that was happening in the room. And that kind of became part of my brand. Kind of like if you know Norm Macdonald, you remember, if you're familiar with his stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that he does not care if he bombs. Like, that guy is hardcore. And he's also one of my biggest influences. A few months into comedy, I met Norm Macdonald at Side Splitters. And
That's cool.
Yeah, I knew nothing. And that's the cool thing about comedy is you can meet all of these and, you know, like people that you really look up to, because it's not Hollywood. This is not Hollywood. This is, again, it's a craft, and it's like you're technically peers with these people at some point once you're actually a working comic. So I told Norm Macdonald, I was like, hey, man, like, I was like, oh, man, I'm doing comedy too. And he's like, and, you know, I'm like, why did I say that? That was so dumb. You know, like, I'm like, why? Who am I?
In your head.
It made sense somehow. I was a little nervous, you know, because he's like one of my favorite, and I was one of the best live shows out of top two in my entire life are Sinbad and Norm Macdonald.
Oh,
period.
wow. Okay.
Period. That's it. Nothing comes close to those performances. So, and I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm doing comedy. He said, oh, respect, man, respect. And he gave me a little fist bump, and like he was genuine. Like, he was genuine. Again, you take those little bits of encouragement, man. That went a long way for me.
Right.
That kept me going for that next year of bombing, for sure.
That's great. It's like one fist bump.
That's it.
Happened through a whole year.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes that happens. You know, you get that one.
Oh, because I'd have been done after like 3 bombs.
Ah,
I'd have been done.
yeah.
Never give up,
Well,
Kevin.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weird
believe
too.
me.
Like, you know, whenever you pay somebody some money to say, okay, hey, now make me laugh. Like, everybody's like, don't lie. Like, I mean, like, you'll be hanging out with people and they'll be laughing all day. But if it's like, I paid him $1, then they.
Suddenly it's
Oh,
like
dude,
sitting
I
there
hate
going
that
to
guy.
across
The
the
guy
aisle.
who does this the whole time. This guy
He wants
in the
to be
front
cool.
row.
They're like, hey, make me laugh. Make me
Yeah,
laugh,
like-
clown.
yeah.
I'm like,
What's up?
That's what I get. That's
Like,
what I
why
get.
are you at a comedy show? He's like,
Right.
I dare you to try. Nobody can make me laugh.
Yeah. And
No, I don't want to see that, dude. And I don't want to see
who's
your
gone
thighs.
through
I don't
all.
want to see your thighs going at me. This is not right. It's not even. Thanks for dressing up. Coming to my show. Wow.
Or you
Where's
got somebody who's
lawnmower
had
shorts?
a horrible day, and they just
Yeah.
come to a comedy show. It's like, look, there's nothing I can do, bro. You've been through hell.
Well, okay, it's okay to have a horrible day and try to laugh your cares away. I think that's okay. But coming to just be mad, like you're like planning to be mad at the show, I don't know, dude. That's a different level of weirdness.
That's kind of a time we're in, though.
I mean,
Right?
like, I feel like there's always been people like that, though. Like, I even see the person that's like not having a good time that goes out to the nightclub. It's like, I wish somebody would. It'd be like,
Oh, they just want to fight.
they
Yeah, no,
they
those people wanna
wanna-
fight.
They want some problems.
yeah, like, yeah.
They want to.
So there's always been people like this in
They
our
came for a
society.
different kind of show.
Yeah, I'm
Nah.
like, I'm not gonna pay money to
I'm
go
not trying to get
throw my
pepper
money
sprayed.
away.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know, for real. Because you
not worth
will
it.
be casualty.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember like your first heckler?
I remember my first really intense heckler. There was like, cause I've had. Okay, here's the thing. I get a lot of hecklers because my act is so conversational. Like I'm so interactive with the crowd. I do a lot of crowd work, so it lends itself. My act lends itself to receiving
So
feedback.
you're pretty much
sometimes.
prepared for that.
I am very prepared for it now. And there was this one show I was supposed to do 30 minutes. I did 29. I did 29 minutes, but 26 of those 29 minutes, I have it on film somewhere, but it was me dealing with one heckler the whole time.
Oh.
And it was wild. It was such a weird experience for me. I had so many different emotions, because it was a new room. So it wasn't really like the rules weren't really enforced yet because the club really didn't know how to police the room yet. So like I'm like looking around like, is anybody gonna like talk to this guy? Because like this is becoming a problem over a little while. But the guy was so drunk, and at one point he was sleeping, and I was like, and then but then his wife like started talking for him, and I was like, what? So it was just a very weird time. But the thing is, like, every time I went after the heckler, the room just erupted with laughter. So I was like, well, they're being entertained, and as long as they're laughing, I guess it's okay. But then it got to the point where I don't know what happened, but like I guess my patience just ran too thin. I'd say at about 23 minutes in, that was where something snapped, and I was like, I legit got mad, like angry, like and I don't usually like on stage. I'm usually like cool no matter what. And he was an older gentleman, and I said this statement, and it was weird. It was weird because it was real. A lot of stuff that you say is real, even if you're joking, which is okay. But in this moment, I was like, I felt like kind of weird about it. I said, now, hey, I would never punch an old man. I would never punch an old man. I never talk about violence or anything. And I was like, where did that come from? And I'm like, and everybody's like, because the guy, he's terrible. The guy's such a jerk. But I was like, and then there was like some orange tape around the outside of the stage. I was like, they told me I had to stay within the orange tape. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Like I just started like, really getting animated with it. And for whatever reason, I don't know, but like I just did like, I only told like 2 jokes that whole time. Because every time I said something, he had a response. And it was easy. It was easy because he was drunk, and I was not. I was very, alert, and I was doing a job. So, it was just so weird though to go that long. It was exhausting. Like after the show, I was just drained because you have to really be on your toes, and like it's mentally exhausting to deal with a heckler for 26 minutes. I don't recommend it. You will get angry, and you will threaten to punch an old man. And I don't think that's good. I think that was a problem, and I had to do I had to pray about that. But what I will say though is that so the next guy who came up did the right thing. The next guy is a good friend of mine. His name is Jander Gray, very funny dude. He comes up on stage and he's like, hey, first of all, this guy is way out of line. Blah blah blah. He basically just put the guy in his place because I was like nicer about it. Until the whole line. I said, I've never punched an old man. I'd never do it. So he did that. And then for the rest of the show, they didn't mess with him at all. So, so that was kind of a lesson for me to learn, like, okay, there's got to be a point where you just say, hey, like, that's it. You're done. Like, you're done. You're either going to leave or you're going to sit there quietly. So yeah, that helped me to learn in the future. I don't want to go 26 minutes toe-to-toe with a drunk old dude. That's it's not my favorite thing. But again, the crowd loved it, so like I want the crowd to have fun. Like I'm here for the audience, and a lot of times whatever's happening in the moment is more funny, or it's funnier than anything that I've written. So I'm like, why would I even go into my material if like this is happening here in the moment and everything's landing? So that's
Right.
I'll abandon my material if something's happening live that's more exciting.
That's not a drunk old man.
Yeah, well, I still will. I'll still like acknowledge. You got to acknowledge a heckler because they want attention, right? They're like, look at me. So you give them a little bit of attention, but you do it in a way that puts them in their place of like, hey, okay, you had your moment. That was it. Now it's time to talk about what everybody paid to see. So that's really it.
Do you ever kind of like have like maybe like a 2-joke minimum on a heckler?
No, because again, I like to explore. I like to play. I'm very playful. I'm just silly. I like to have fun. That's really my brand. And so, no, I don't put a limit on anything. I try not to limit any possibility. So if there's a heckler, if I can find a way to turn the heckler and then maybe get them on my side and then like come back to them later or something like that, I would do that. And again, it's like 50% of my shows I get heckled. 50%. It's very high for any comic.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. So again, it's because I'm so conversational, and I'm like, "What's your name? What do you do? Okay, where do you work? Okay, you're celebrating a bachelorette party. Okay, just calm down." And then just like I'm trying to figure out. We get it. We get it. It's her day. It's her day. Yeah. Oh, Nashville, dude. Oh man, they're on the little those bars, the petty tap thing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Taverns.
And they're just
They'll be
playing.
hanging off the side of them.
Dude,
You know what I'm saying?
they're playing Next Time He Cheats by Carrie Underwood, and they're just belting it out.
Oh my goodness.
Dug
man.
my key into the side.
Yep.
And then want to be hanging off, and then want to be throwing up over inside of the
Dude,
boat. And
it's not a good
everything
look.
else.
Not a good look.
Actually, they changed a lot of the rules.
Really?
Cause like somebody was super drunk and fell off one of those party buses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, go figure that. Didn't see that coming.
Wait, that's all that happened? That's all that happened?
Like,
Somebody fell off of one, or they
I
died?
think
Or?
the guy got ran over. I think he got ran over.
Well, no, he didn't get ran over. He fell to the side of it while it was moving.
So the bus ran him over.
No, he hit the bus, but it didn't run him over. He just hit the side of it.
I don't know, but that's not the first time that's happened though.
I'm certain
That's the
it
first time? I would imagine that happens
no way.
every weekend.
I just think they just finally caught it on video.
Yeah. And it's like it kind of went viral a little bit. It's like, look at this drunk dude.
Right,
It's like
right.
open air like bus, and he's like leaning over the side. He's like, whoa, whoopsie. I was like,
Whoops.
oh, man.
If he said whoopsie and they got it on camera, that would be viral. Yeah, that's viral.
They do the Mortal Kombat whoopsie though.
Oh, yeah. Finish him. Finish him.
Might as well put that there too. Yeah, we affectionately. When I first moved, I didn't know about those. So that be careful for the woo girls. No, like woo girls.
Oh, not the Wu-Tang. Not Wu-Tang.
No, definitely.
It's a different kind of
Even though
woo.
they do visit, but no,
Wu-Tang was for the children.
Method Man.
when I first got here, it would drive past, and the first time they ever caught one of them, they went, "Ooh, a black guy," and they just flashed me. They went, "Woo!"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh,
That
okay."
makes sense.
I think I'm like, well, I got my welcome to Nashville moment.
Oh, man.
But then this kept happening like every weekend for a month. So
Okay.
I
It's
kind
a
of got
tradition,
tired of it.
apparently.
Yeah, it's a weird tradition. So the last time it happened, the girl did it, and I was just so tired from work, I didn't make a facial expression. So she just looked depressed as she's putting her shirt down. And I was like, ooh.
Oh, she never felt like that before.
Nope.
Especially from a guy like
I have
you.
so many thoughts. I'm not going to.
It's like, well, I ruined her wedding. She'll live with it, but that was very satisfying for me.
Okay.
To disappoint somebody? That was
And that
satisfying?
Yeah,
Yes,
maybe
it
you
was-
should see a therapist, bro. I don't know. I'm not.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm not one to judge. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, I want you to be healthy, happy. Take
I
care
would
of
love
yourself.
to tell this story to a therapist, actually.
So man,
Yeah. See, well, comedy
he's
is
hyping
therapy.
himself
Comedy
up.
is therapy for me, though. Comedy's
He's
therapy
like,
for me.
Kevin's like looking in the mirror. He's like, you did that.
Got her. You got her.
I feel like I did that in the car. And played Ice Cube, Today Was a Good Day. That's a win for me. So, like, I always hear about comedians talking about writing jokes. And when I think of writing anything, I think of, like, music or, like, script. So, like, how does a comedian write a joke?
Well, how do you write a joke?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, that's probably my least favorite question. But let's see. Well, because it's weird. Like, everybody's different, man. Everybody's different. Like, for me to write a joke, like, I'm one of those guys who writes on stage a lot. So I'll have an idea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll have an idea, and I'll be like, okay, I'll be kind of stewing on it, let it marinate in there, and then I'll just kind of bring the topic up, and I'll try to see. Again, I'm reading people's reactions, how because certain words are very provocative, of course. So certain words are gonna, kind of get a certain response. So you're trying to like navigate which word belongs in this place. Because I know I want to say something funny about this topic, and I have I have a couple funny ideas, but I really write mostly on stage. I'll take notes in my phone. I basically get a lot of ideas in the shower, like when I'm driving. I'm sure it happens with music too. When you're like driving, you start thinking of something creative,
Right.
or any creative thing. So because
Films.
films, a lot of ideas because you're really not, you're not engaged in anything in particular other than, you're in a zone where you can just kind of chill and be, you're it's not noisy. It's just kind of like it's you and you're ready to, in your zone. So for me, that's again the shower, the car. Anytime during the day when I see something hilarious, like I'll take a note about it, and I might make a joke about it, but it's really I just take little notes on topics, and then if I think of a couple lines, I'll do it. I'll tell the joke on stage. I'll watch the video, and then I'll take notes on what worked, and if something didn't work, I throw it out, and then I'll just build on that, and I'll edit it accordingly. So that's really it. But I don't sit down and just write. I can't do that for some reason. It's just my attention span or whatever. But
Has a joke ever come to you in a dream?
yeah, I've had some jokes in dreams. I think in dreams is for like I do get jokes, but I also sometimes get ideas for music, and stuff like that. But I've definitely had jokes because I don't know that they're good. A lot of times when you're sleepy, it's not good. Like I have. I've woken up from a number of dreams, and there was a Seinfeld episode about this where he wakes up from a dream. He's like oh yeah, that's pretty good. He writes it down, and then he's like, "What is this?" He doesn't know. He's like, "This wasn't funny at all," and so that's what happens. Yes, so I do get bad jokes in my dreams. That happens. That's real.
Oh man.
Like I know you had mentioned the shower as well. Like it just seems like all kinds of art, people tend to think the shower is like a great place for that.
Not for me.
Not for you?
No,
Never.
no,
You-
I'd be trying.
never.
To get
Wow,
in
you're
there.
like exclusively no. Get out of my shower ideas. Get out of here. I'm showering.
We don't need you. We don't need you in here.
I got my Epsom salt bath. I got my lavender essential oils.
Exactly.
I got my.
Exactly.
I'm listening to
Shower for
Keith
you is
Sweat.
a whole different type of mind state for you. Yeah, like I always hear this term where comedians say "read the room."
Yeah.
So you like is that like you ever like have like you have an idea of what you're gonna do for your set, and then maybe like you kind of see like maybe an act or two before you go, let me go ahead and scratch that and just throw kind of
all the time. All the time. Yeah. And even during my set, I'll call all kinds of audibles in my mind. I'll just say, oh, what? Okay, they like these kinds of jokes. They're not, and I was hoping to go into this thing, to go into that thing, but they're not going to come along that ride with me. So I got to go, go to plan C or whatever. You always have to think a few steps ahead when you're on stage if that's happening. So yeah, I definitely pay attention to what's happening in the room. Again, the opening comics, like I'll see, okay, what are they doing, and how silly can I get up front, because you want to. It's the energy in the room the dynamic is really interesting. Like you want to be able to take the energy and get it to the next level and just build on it. And so it's like, yeah, sometimes you walk into very low energy, so you got to kind of meet them a little bit lower than you'd like, and then bring them up to your level. So yeah. I mean, I definitely pay attention if they're talking about subjects that I'm going to talk about. I'm like, well, I'm not talking about that now because they already covered that topic. I'm like, hey, remember when that one guy said something about that thing? I'm going to say that too. All right, here we go. That's weird. All right, cool. It doesn't work. Yeah. Cause they're like, oh no, we already talked about, being married or, whatever, or kids or whatever it is, which I don't have either one of those, but I'm just saying, I have some jokes because I was married. I do have jokes about that. But yeah, so if the guy goes up and talks about his ex-wife the whole time, I'm not doing ex-wife material. I'm not doing it.
Now, when you normally do divorce or ex-wife material, does it tend to go do well?
Yeah. See, any topic can do well. Any topic can do well. I think Dave Chappelle is a prime example of this. Any topic. No, but obviously not everybody is going to find it funny or true, but he is able to cover the most taboo subjects in our culture. He's one of those guys, just like Bill Burr. Bill Burr's another one. Where he
Very
he just
aggressively.
because he's like
it feels so natural for them to do that though. It's like kind of conversational.
It's like, hey, I'm Bill. Hey, they're like, hey, Bill. Hey, what's up with women? I'm like, I don't know. It's crazy. They're crazy. I don't know. Hey, I don't know.
Jay feels like a conversation.
Yeah.
Bill feels like a kick in the door. Like,
he's
we're
like,
just gonna knock this elephant out the room right now.
That's right. He's like, believe women. He's like, what? All of them? Like, maybe like, I give you like 86%. I give you like 86%. That's it. They're like, Bill, believe women. I'm like, no, I don't want to. Okay.
You know. Honestly, Bill Burr's best material is when he gives bad dating advice.
Oh, that's funny.
That is his. That
is funny.
He's like, I don't know why you listen to me.
Yeah, like you shouldn't. Why are you? Yeah. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I don't know.
I was like, he gives you the disclaimer too. He's like, I don't know nothing. It's like, but let's get into it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know what? That music hit your voice very well.
When you said let's get into it, then he hit it.
Timing. I'm a drummer. I got a meter. I'm like,
that timing was perfect.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room and the attacks on comedians right now.
Okay.
That have happened. Okay, we had two of them.
We
One was
did.
at the Oscars and the other one was at the Dave Chappelle's taping. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about that?
I feel a lot of things. I feel obviously I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it. And it's interesting because this is really, if you really want to know how I feel, this is deep. I'm
Let
about to
us-
get
let us know.
I
philosophical.
mean, you got the music.
Let me get my.
playing,
Yeah,
man.
I know.
let us
I got the
Put us
music.
in the
Let's see.
zone.
Let's get in the zone on this. About to drop some knowledge. All right. So the thing is that when you're dealing with these high-profile Hollywood celebrities, and you have the court of public opinion weighing in so heavily on these incidents, if you will, really makes a mountain out of a molehill in some ways, but also there's a bigger picture that really means a lot to comedians and to I guess freedom of speech and expression. Like there's a lot of roots to that where you're like, okay, but seriously, if we're going to talk about Will Smith, who laughed at a joke that was pretty benign, in my opinion. I do comedy. I hear all kinds of offensive stuff from comedians, but this is very benign. She chose to wear that haircut outside, and that's it. Period. Like, you have to accept that. You have to accept that. So, but then Will Smith looks over and she's like, "You're gonna let that happen?"
Yeah, charge him up.
And I was like, dude. And people were telling me, like, this one girl, she's like, "No, that was a PR stunt." And I was like, dude, how are you gonna say that's a Puerto Rican stunt? That's racist, first of all. No, but I just had to throw that in there. I was trying.
That was slick. I didn't see that coming.
I was expecting Dominican, but what?
Yeah, Dominican stunt. That was it. That's a different kind of stunt. It's close. But so then but anyhow, I'm thinking of like the mental health part of it, because there's some mental health issues. There's some emotions. I mean, being such a high profile celebrity is already a world that we can't even relate to. And so to pass judgment on people, like, I'm not going to judge Will Smith. I'm going to say that it wasn't right what he did, but I'm not going to say, oh, Will Smith's canceled, like he's the worst or whatever. Like, no, I grew up watching Fresh Prince and like loving all his movies. So he's one of the best actors ever, but he happens to be in a situation where he's responding in a way that is not, just not loving or appropriate or even like a good example for anybody. So, you know, that's my opinion about Will Smith. So I still think he's great, but, you know, he made a bad decision. And then Chris Rock, I thought, was very classy, man. He was classy about the whole thing. You know, he's like, wow, that just happened. And then he's like, yeah, and this is the
He
best.
acknowledged the moment.
Exactly. You got to acknowledge it, you know, because he's a true comic, you know, he's a true stand-up comedian. And so he said, and he's like, yeah, well, that was the best moment in the history of live television, right? Like, he's like legitimately in real time. He's being real. Like, that was real. That came out like for real. So, you know, I think that was really, again, the way he handled it, I felt really, I felt like that was right. So then, you know, again, then the problem becomes everybody's opinions about everything. Everybody's opinions about alopecia. Everybody's opinions about the wife with other dudes and you know, Chris Rock and, you know, whatever. It's none of your business, first of all, but like the problem is that, you know, if it's going to embolden other people, that was the big concern for all comics. You know, because I'm mostly friends with comedians on Facebook and Instagram or whatever. So my news feed is just like, oh, this is just a bunch of bad jokes, and also, you know, about the incident, but also like, oh man, stand-up comedy's dead. And even Howie Mandel said he was afraid to get on stage now.
Yeah,
you heard that.
Seeing
Yeah,
that as well.
So I think that's a problem because, you know, now that it happened with Chappelle, you know, like I even noticed, you know, what's interesting is I noticed a recent heckle that happened to me. This guy got angry for something that he misinterpreted. Like, he thought I was being mean, and I wasn't being mean at all. I was giving him a compliment. So again, him interpreting my compliment as being mean, again, blew my mind. But the dude, he started coming at me aggressively, right? Like, not physically, but I was like, why is this guy being like, this is like, I'm used to hecklers, but this is a little bit like more charged emotionally.
Right.
Like, there's more emotional charge to it. So when you start talking about what you can say and what you can't say on stage and what's an acceptable joke, the bottom line is, if you go to see a comedian and you're easily offended, you should not go see any comedian, because our job, our job is to
There's
be
your quote for today.
controversial. Yeah. I mean, you know, so
even at that other comedy show was in Pittsburgh with Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson was on an airplane.
No,
was on an airplane.
There was another incident. There was another incident 2 weeks prior to that. So Mike Tyson's in the front row of a comedy show, and then something happens or whatever, and this guy pulls out a gun on Mike Tyson, like in public.
Mike Tyson's had
Yeah.
one.
And he's like,
In an interesting year.
And then what's wild though is Mike Tyson was like, you don't want to do this. And you know how Mike Tyson talks.
I know how
He's
you
like,
talk.
"Dude, he's like, you don't want to do this, man.
Man, you don't want to do
Like,
it, man.
and then-
You don't want to do this,
They
man.
put the gun away. He hugged the guy, and I was like, wow.
Oh.
And 2 weeks later, he beats that guy up on the airplane.
Yeah. You know, he's got different
like-
levels of. He's got different modes.
What did that guy do differently than the guy that pulled a gun on him?
Like, what did what did this guy say for Mike Tyson? Go, oh, I need to remind you that I'm Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He probably said
Yeah.
something that he was like, oh, Mike Tyson ain't gonna touch me, so I can say whatever he want, whatever I want to say to him.
People silly. That's really silly.
Yeah, no,
That's
people.
probably what happened.
Yeah, and that's also is people will capitalize on something. They're opportunistic. You know, they say, oh,
Right.
well, this thing just happened. So if I rush the stage at Dave Chappelle, I'm going to get some notoriety in some way. You know, my SoundCloud's going to blow up because this dude's going to check it out and jam it.
He got noted, all right.
He blew up.
He
Blew up.
wasn't ready for
His
the
face
limelight,
blew
I'll
up.
tell you that.
His face blew up right here.
Oh, hey, his elbow blew out. I was like,
He got the most famous jumping in history.
and then even Chris Rock had a moment. Whatever. He's like, he had.
He had.
He's
to.
like, was that Will Smith? Will Smith's here?
Like,
man.
like it was just there. Like the alley was there. He had to take it.
Yeah, I would have done the
other
same thing.
thing
I would have done the
was-
same thing.
was that it was a taping, so all these other celebrities were there,
Yeah.
and they jumped on stage to whoop.
Yeah,
his
Jamie
butt.
Foxx. Jamie Foxx was in there.
Yeah, Jamie
Clutch.
Foxx. Busta Rhymes was there.
They said he was in the back talking about.
Yeah.
He said he told him he said that's how you
I
do
got
it.
you all.
Like imagine, oh, I'm about to meet Jamie Foxx and his feet about to hit your face.
Yeah.
Oh man. He said he had a sheriff hat on. I'm not lying. He had a sheriff
he
hat
did,
on.
but that sounds like something that would happen in a horrible dream.
No, it's like a Dave Chappelle skit. It was just like real life. I was like, man, it's like the Chappelle show all over again, man. Chappelle show. It's like you had all these.
It actually does sound like a Chappelle skit.
Yeah,
Just
he on
Busta Rhymes
stage and all these celebrities in the crowd.
Yeah,
add
yeah.
most
The Roots.
guests.
I guess the Roots were there. Were the Roots there? We had Questlove and
No.
Black Thought. They were there.
Probably so.
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
if he
yeah,
got
because he's
stumped
tight
by
with the
one of
Roots,
members
man.
of the Roots. It's Questlove. If Questlove was there, he's had it.
But they from Philly though.
They are from
So
Philly.
Don't let that fool you.
I'm
Be
just
like,
thinking, he already he got the Oscar after the slap, and then if he's there for this, like man, I'm just staying at the house. Like there's just too much going on.
Yeah, I don't need no drama. I don't want no drama.
Now, have you seen after the Dave Chappelle situation, like when you done clubs, have you seen maybe clubs kind of like add maybe security or they kind of change how they do things?
It's not in the budget. It's not in the budget. They can't even pay me. They can't even pay their comics enough to eat. So we are the security. We are it. I only have big buff dudes opening for me. And some, yeah. So I just I try to find the strongest dudes. I'm like, hey, you want to open for me? Yeah, come on. Yeah, you sit up front row, just in case. I don't know. No, but there is a dude. There's a guy who knows dude. This guy. He's ridiculous into kickboxing, jujitsu, all that stuff. This guy
He's
is
definitely got to be the opener.
No. Yeah, yeah. He's my opener. I'm hoping he'll open for me. But he might be booked. He might be booked now. He's booking hard now. His bookings shot up pretty high recently. But yeah, that guy, his name's Devin, and this guy is like a lethal machine. He's ex-military, but he is his body his hands are, lethal weapons for real. And so he made a video. He's like, just understand if you do this, and it showed, the Will Smith, and then it said, just know that I do this, and it showed him just beating people up and stuff. I'm like, that's the best promo video I've seen in a while. That's the best comedy promo I could get.
That is how I would promo every show I do. Just give me y'all warning. Y'all can step on this stage if you want to.
Just know that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
For sure.
People still don't like to get beat up. That's never changed. That's never changed.
Yeah, I try to avoid that in life. Period. Yeah. Just
that
in
should
general.
be his promo. I think people still don't like getting beat up. But if y'all want to try it, go right ahead.
Well, then you're gonna get the SoundCloud guy who wants to, get a couple more subscribers.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know.
Subscribe
But so
to
again,
these
I think
hands.
so. I think exactly. So I think the real issue is again each individual. It's about the heart, the motives behind what happens is really the important factor, and that's the thing that you can't always measure. But it's hey, why did this person rush Dave Chappelle? Again, was he trying to capitalize and get his SoundCloud on somewhere? Maybe. Probably. I think definitely. So it's
I wonder, was it a bet?
No, I heard he has severe mental problems.
See,
And
that's
I'm-
it. The mental health part.
And I'm like, okay, mental problems. Like what led him to go to the Dave Chappelle show and then be on the front row? I'm like, that's
because he.
It
that was
sounds
premeditated.
deliberate.
That's premeditated, man. That's it. Premeditated. He saw an opportunity. He's like, okay. An act just went off stage. Dave Chappelle walked up on stage. Boom! It's time to strike. That's what it looked like to me. Again, you got a lot of opportunities in this and in our culture right now. If you even kids, if you ask kids what they want to do when they grow up, like 85% or something say they want to be professional YouTube stars, or they want to be stars in some way. You know, they want to be famous. So
Yeah,
there's, you
like-
know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah,
weird.
not for a particular reason either.
No.
They just want it.
And there's a really good friend of mine. His name's John Jacobs. He's a great comic, killer comic, and he was on a couple reality TV shows, and he told me this story about being on those reality TV shows. Well, it was on MTV. There was one called The Challenge, and then the other one was called Are You the One? So he's on these shows.
I've heard of those.
You heard of those? Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's on these shows, and he's talking to the other people, you know, the other people in the house, and he's like, hey, so, you know, what are you gonna do after the show's done, you know? And they're like, oh, well, I'm gonna just man, I'm gonna blow up, dude. I'm gonna be famous. And he's like okay, well, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do anything? And they're
Skip a
like,
couple steps.
they're like, no, just, you know, people want to see me and stuff, and I'll just
People want to see you.
show up. And
Oh.
I'm like,
Oh,
he's
they're
like, you
gonna
haven't
pay
thought
to
this
see 'em,
through.
huh?
You haven't thought this through at all.
Nah.
Like you've given it zero. Like, and because again, comics, like, we put so much work, time, like we sacrifice so many different things. Like, for example, even talking to him in this documentary we're working on, he's part of the documentary. I was talking to him, and we both kind of came to the conclusion that at this point, since we're both single, that, like, we just can't date. We can't date. Like, it's one of those things that we have to sacrifice right now to be able to, you know, reach our goals, because if you don't really
Yep.
grind it out, like, and it's not fair to someone to bring somebody into a relationship where you're not going to be able to give them the time and attention that they would
Exactly.
need, you know?
And
So
they're not gonna understand either.
Right.
no,
It's
and,
like-
you can't
so
explain
now
it.
you're gonna be like fighting it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like some of your family probably even give you trouble every now and again.
Yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
you don't
There's
have
definitely
a real job.
there's definitely an unspoken, an elephant in the room. It's like it's like I'm not respected in some ways, and you know, I mean, that's no respect, but it happens, you know. I mean, it really, seriously, like, it's part of it though, where you have to condition yourself so much to not care or not give weight to what other people think of you. And if you
Right,
know who you are, you don't have to let people have that power over you, and you just say, okay, that opinion matters very little to me. I care about the person, and I love this person, but I can't let their judgment of me weigh me down. That's it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
let's talk about this documentary that you got.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's my first document. I never thought I would do a document. It wasn't like, oh, one day I'm gonna do that. No, I actually, I'm not a filmmaker per se. I just I feel very passionate about this topic. So we're talking about cancel culture, comedy, like the actual craft of stand-up comedy and everything that goes into it. And we're talking about censorship, freedom of speech, and the whole premise is that we're like, I'm interviewing people all across the board from every group, any kind of race or religion or background or sexual orientation. It doesn't matter. It's like, hey, when we sit down face to face, comedy is a great equalizer for us. So there's already a mutual respect, period. No matter what you do or think or believe, it doesn't matter. Like, we have this unspoken respect. Like what I felt from Norm Macdonald when I met him. It was that kind of respect. Like, he literally said, because we share a lot. It's kind of like if you go, like, military. Like, if you were in the Army and you see another guy who's in the Army, you're like, oh, dude, yeah, we get each other.
Right.
There's a respect.
Right.
There's a bond that it's like unspoken. Same thing for comedy. So, you know, and a lot of things, law enforcement or, you know, any kind of,
It's kind of in like every community,
athletic
like
community.
the film community. You know,
Film,
I see
yeah,
another
like-
female director. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Respect.
okay, I see you. Yeah, respect. See,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, and so it's so when we are able to level the playing field, I'm able to actually get a lot deeper with comics. You know, we ask questions like, not like what's your writing process. We ask other questions I'm just playing, man. I'm sorry about that. But but we're like really digging into like the heart of what's going on, because we all are not here to hurt anybody. We're truly here to help people have a good time. We're here to help you enjoy your life. And we all share that in common, no matter how controversial or benign your act is. We all share that. So it's just, I'm talking to people who, there was one comic I met who was a man when I met him, and then now has transitioned to be a female. So I interviewed her, which was a little trippy for me, but like, yeah, it was like I knew this person. And again, I don't know much about that, what that life could even begin to look like, but because we have the bond of comedy, we had just such a great time, and we were laughing, we're having fun, but we're getting deep and talking about real psychological, emotional issues that are really at the core of why people act out the way they do. So yeah, so it's a really, I mean, it's one of those things where you go in and you're like, oh, I think I know what this is going to look like, and it's a great idea, and it's going to be very marketable, and we have lots of people that'll be interested in it. It'll be great. But it was like, no, like being a real journalist means that you are not the story. I'm not the story. I can't be. So I have to let the story unfold before me and let the truth speak for itself, and that's really what we're doing. We're not in there. We're not doing yellow journalism. We're like, okay, let's find a way to spin this. And Peter Parker, tell me that. No, let's put it into this. Like, no, we're not doing that. No, we're like true. Yeah, we're not CNN. We're not Fox News. We are just straight up human beings talking to human beings, and that doesn't happen enough in our culture.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's profound to find out how I have more in common with these people. I don't even begin to understand their, anything else other than the fact that we're comics. I can't understand their upbringing or their background or what they went through, or what traumas they've had. But I do understand that they're a valuable human life and a human person with a personality and feelings and, all those things. So it's really, again, it's just become just so much bigger than anything we could have imagined. And there's an updated trailer coming out. LastLaughDoc.com is where you can see that. But right now we just have the working trailer. But we got some celebrity comics. We got they're all veteran pros, celebrity comics, and working comics who've been at least 7 years in the game. So we're kind of trying to hit every part of the stage in the process. Original Comedy Store dudes from 1982, 1986. I mean, just some Jamie Kennedy. I don't know if you know Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
From the Jamie Kennedy Experiment, Malibu's Most Wanted, B-Rad. Yeah, you remember that. And so we got Steve, Jeff Allen. We got, there's Kyle Dunnigan. Do you know Kyle Dunnigan? If you don't know Kyle Dunnigan, do yourself a favor and check out Kyle Dunnigan on YouTube. He has a YouTube show, and he does like all these impersonations. Like he's been doing this Johnny Depp one recently, like where he has this computer program that make his face look like whoever it is.
I think I've seen him.
You seen him?
I didn't know who it was. And you like man, like you start looking at it.
Yeah,
like,
you get lost
Jason
in it.
Momoa as well.
Yeah. Well, no, he did a joke about Momoa as he was Rocky from Sylvester Stallone. He was like Sylvester Stallone in that face, Sylvester Stallone face, I guess is what you call it. I don't know, but then he actually talked about Momoa. So maybe that stuck with you because it was a pretty pungent joke, poignant, if you will. Yeah, but but again, the dude just like he rips on everybody, which is satire is so important in culture. Like that's part of like what makes a constitutional republic different than any other kind of like nation or whatever way to govern a society. Because it's like, no, you got to be able to make fun of everybody. So he makes fun of Biden and Trump and all these other people, but he also makes fun of, like, again, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, and whoever else is just kind of prolific right now. He's like, okay, let's make fun of that guy. Alec Baldwin. When Alec Baldwin was, it's like, excuse me. Okay, excuse me. Like it was hilarious. He had this whole like
Man.
like he had it down in the face, and like again, you get lost in it. You're like, this is Alec Baldwin. So, and he does Jeff Goldblum. That's so funny. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Oh, this. Wow. Yes. This is. Yeah. Yes. Like he does that deal. Like again, I'm not doing it justice. Kyle Dunnigan, the dude's amazing, and he's been on like Joe Rogan's podcast a couple times, and he's always like, yeah, he's always on in the Howie Mandel and stuff like that. So yeah.
You know, that always reminds me, like, anytime I think about comedy and how it has the power to kind of break through stuff and, like,
Yeah.
you know, just
Yeah,
be
as
honest.
it should.
I mean,
Yeah.
the court jester in the king's court had a lot
Yeah.
of power
Right.
because he was the only one with the
Permission.
kind of wide berth to
Yeah.
be able to just be like kind of poke fun at the king
Yeah.
in public.
Right.
In public, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly, and any president in the history of our modern age, like if you look at SNL, every president has been made fun of. So to have the idea of like, oh well, that's not okay to make fun of this president or this vice president or this whoever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like life's so much bigger than right or left or whatever agenda versus whatever agenda. Like it's truly about, like, I believe it's about loving, it's about loving each other. And, I think that if we were able to stop, just, well, first of all, you'll live a more fulfilled life if you don't just focus on negative, angry things, and you just say, hey,
Right.
wait, yeah, what do I have in common with these people? Like, how can I connect with people? Maybe I don't connect with these people because maybe they're just, they're not my people, and that's okay. But the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and stew and just be bitter about something when it's a distraction, I think, and it's not helping anybody. So,
Agreed.
yeah,
Right.
I think that's the temperature, though, that's like in our culture right now. It's like, hey, like, let's just get back to basics, right? Like, let's just get back to, okay, like, can't we all just get along? Come on. That's Rodney King, baby. Like that kind of stuff. Like that as weird of a situation as that is for me to say, it's like literally that sentiment is like, it still rings true for me. It's like, yeah, why can't we just get along? Why can't we get along with the police? Why can't we get along with other races? Why can't we get along with comedians or people we disagree with? Even if we disagree, we can still get along.
Can we do that without getting beat up though? Because I go back to my point that I made. He got beat up, and like nobody likes to get beat up.
That's
You
true.
said, like,
Yeah,
can we
Rodney
get
King
along
got beat
without
hard,
anybody
dude.
get beat up.
Rodney King went hard though, dude. That
Man.
guy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they took a lot to get that guy down for real. Like they were hitting him hard. That was not good. So, but yeah, I mean, even the George Floyd stuff, like all that stuff, like I think that because now white people get so, because it's like, okay, when you're talking about race, it's like, first of all, human race. I don't like, I don't like the division of race, but I do like to talk about how we are culturally different, and it's okay to be culturally different. I'm not ever being disparaging to another race. I'm never disparaging or alienating any people, but I want to talk about how white people are different than other people, but then people will just tense up, usually white women. But anyhow, they usually, they tense up. They tense up. That's why I date
I was
Puerto Rican
literally
girls.
thinking that. I didn't want to say
You were.
it, but I'm
I
glad
know.
you did.
Yeah, no, yeah. She's trying to talk to the manager about my joke, which, like, but the thing is, like, but at what point? At
Has
what
that
point?
ever really happened?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Teacher.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm lit person because I'm like, come on, you can't see beyond yourself, to be able to have a good time and have a sense of humor and enjoy your life, and enjoy other people. We're social creatures, man. Like we gotta have, some community. So yeah, if you can't have things in common, like, I don't know, I guess shelter in place. I don't know. Stay home, Karen. Come on. No, but the thing is, though, is this like, again, like, so even though, and in the documentary, I talked to this comic. His name's Ken Miller. He's killer. He's from Orlando, And he's like, yeah, I like to talk about race a lot. And I was like, well, what about like me talking about race? And he's like, yeah, you can't do that. And I was like, okay, but why? Like, because we're, again, race, it's not about race, it's more about culture. It's not about, it's not like, oh, this race is any better. We're all equal. We're all equal. That's period. Done. Like feminism, right? Like feminism, the definition of feminism has always been equality. Women are equal, period. That should be baseline stuff. We shouldn't have to try to figure that out. No, it's like, yeah, we're equal. There's no better than, we're all in this together. Right. So, then you got like a, I guess, what would you call it? A feminazi, neo-feminism, and I'm like, wait, what? Okay. So if there's a feminazi, what about a misogynist? Is there a misogynazi? I don't massage Nazis. Too much racial tension. Okay, sorry, I set myself up for a bad joke. But you got to be, I don't know what I'm doing. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. That's the bottom line. But but what I'm trying to get at is that it's like if we can't celebrate our differences and being culturally different than others, but still get have harmony, like that's a sad world, man. And that's what happens. Like how many Russians have you met who are just like the most jovial people? Like when you're
not jovial, they were cool.
They're stoic. I'm saying they're stoic.
Yeah. They weren't like ha 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 ha.
Right, exactly. So, and I'm not saying this to be. I'm not against Russians. Okay, some of my best friends know people who are Russian, but anyhow. The thing is, but the thing is, like, because when you're under something that's so strict in, like, or North Korea, like where you have like such strict, like you can't say anything, you're getting propaganda and everything's controlled, like your media is controlled and your jokes are censored, like that kind of stuff. The people are not happy, is my point.
Yeah. Right.
The people are not living fulfilled lives at that point, So that's really it, because I'm pro-human. I love humans, and I love people, period. And if I can help people have a good time and laugh, and I can join in that, and we can have a fun conversation, that's a win in my book.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Now, as we wrap everything up, and you may want to play the music as you answer this, like with everything going on with cancel culture, with like tensions being high, like why do you still love being a comedian?
Well, I love being a comedian because I've always shared the sentiment of like punk rock. So, not a big fan of the genre, but I am a fan of the sentiment and the ideology. Ideology is think for yourself and question authority. Bill Hicks was really well known for being like a punk rock kind of comic, in the 80s or I guess early 90s. So it's now there's so much information coming at us always. It's like sometimes we allow other people and other networks or whatever to think for us rather than actually critically thinking and trying to understand ourselves. Sometimes we avoid understanding ourselves and our own motives and our own weirdness or grossness. And if we're not even able to, be introspective, then it's like if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love anybody else?
Yep.
Right? So if you can't think for yourself, how are you going to tell other people what to think? Like that's a weird thing to me. So I think that, I think that that's a big, that's it. We just need to think for yourself. Not necessarily questioning authority is healthy because you have to know why you believe what you believe. You can't just be like, oh, I believe this because, well, why? He told me. He said it was the thing that we would do.
Saw it on
That's
Twitter.
Right. It was on Twitter, dude. How do you? Yeah, Twitter.com. 80% of them are bots. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Elon Musk. Hey, about Twitter. Hey, AI. Okay. AI about Twitter. Okay. So, but no, I think that that's it. Is like, if you truly do think and as hard as it is to sometimes address our own, mistakes or wrongdoings or whatever you want to say, like, it's healthy, and it's part of, like, that humility to be able to say, okay, I'm not better than this guy or this gal. Like, we're all just human beings trying to, survive. Like, we're just out here, we're no different. There shouldn't be preference and prejudice.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, once again, what's the name of the documentary you're doing?
So the working title is The Last Laugh. We have a legal team looking into seeing if that's going to be the official title. We have a couple other working titles. The URL we have for it, the landing page, is lastlaugh.com. Yeah, my video.
I haven't heard of that one.
No, yeah, my video guy is not happy with me saying that. But the filmmaker I'm working with. So Chris Florence is the filmmaker I'm working with, and it's just a 50-50, 100, like, just all collab. Like, we basically try to take what I bring to the table and what he brings to the table, and just get the best possible product. This guy is, in my experience, I've dealt with a lot of video guys, trying to get video of, comedy and sketch comedy and, whatever, comedic acting. This guy is by far the best filmmaker and most talented, director of photography I've ever met, like, I've ever worked with, and I put him up against anybody. He's killer. So, I mean, it's cinematic. It's completely cinematic. It's raw. It's real. And it's just so extremely captivating. It just has been, like again, I've just been sitting back in awe of, like, what's unfolding, So this project's way bigger than me. It's way bigger than him, and I'm excited for people to be able to just be confronted with it, because it's like, hey, when you're able to, like, think outside of yourself, again, that's what we're challenging people to do, is just think for yourself. We're giving you the information. It's the evidence is there for whatever but you just have to interpret that evidence, and you have to respond and, figure out how you want to live and how you want to, view your life and how you interact with people. It's about humanity. Really. It's comedy is, it's very much about comedy, but it's not, it's a much bigger picture. It's wild. It's a wild ride, and it has hilarious moments. It has very deep thoughts and profound things going on. But it's just gonna be an amazing cinematic film. Period. So I'm excited. The thing I've been most excited about in my life, I have invested my time, energy, money, everything into this. Bet the farm on it. What's up?
All right. Now, I can't wait to see it myself. I like documentaries and comedians, so those two things go well together, I feel like. But Donnie, I want to thank you for taking time out to speak to us today.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you got it. You got it. What were your names? I didn't know everybody's name. I'm Donnie. All right, don't we do that later?
Again, I'm Kevin Mumphrey. And these
Kevin,
are my colleagues, Karsten Hype Ferguson.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
And Victoria V.A. Jones.
Victoria V.A. Jones.
Yeah. I like that. I like this guy. I like this guy. Yeah.
Warm welcome.
That is how we'll end it, I guess.
That's it. We did it backwards.
That is a wrap.